Hey everybody, it's Taz. Welcome back to Taz's Wig Closet. I find myself with a little bit of time and I thought I might do a little bit of a vlog for you today. I don't usually do a whole lot of vlogging, but now that I'm down here in Georgia for a little bit taking care of my son, I find myself with some time and I thought it might be a good idea. There's just not a better time to really take stock of yourself and share with others than when you're coming out of a crisis situation. Many of you know that my son has had an accident and a subsequent potential illness that I'm dealing with, and I will post a link to the video above if you are not up to speed on that. But it just really gives you a perspective on yourself and life itself. You know, so many of us are against sort of the aging process, the stuff that goes along with it, right? You know, the thinning hair, the wrinkles, you know, everything that goes along with aging. We kind of have a negative view of it. But when you're faced with something that could potentially be life altering, it changes your perspective on that. And my new perspective is just that we should all be so lucky to get old. And so I really am embracing that and just going to take advantage of the rest of my days in a way that celebrates the aging process along with the wisdom and the grace that comes along with that. You know, Taz is a nickname. I think you all are aware. Taz came about over 25 years ago. I met my best friend at an office job that I had. I was actually an associate with Beneficial Finance years ago, a finance company, and they're no longer in business. But I met my best friend Lisa there, and we remain really close friends to this day, and we continue to write our life stories together and really support and celebrate each other. And it's just been a blessing of a friendship. Well, she actually gave me this nickname because back in the early 90s, there were no computers like they are today. We had computers that were just this little black screen with these neon green digital things on them, you know, and so that's all we had. But we had to initial all of our work, like all the loans that we completed and different things. We had to initial everything. Well, at that time, my initials were TAZ, and so it made a cute little acronym because not only does it spell something, Taz, I was always something of a bit of a whirling dervish around the office. I'll never forget my supervisor at that time. He called me a little stick of dynamite. I think you could probably all see that, right? I just had so much energy and so much, I wanted to succeed. I wanted it so badly, and that showed through on all of my work. So when I started my YouTube channel, it was just a natural thing for me to call myself Taz because it's friendly, it's what my friends call me, but at the same time I didn't have to reveal my full name. When I started doing videos, there was a lot of bad things happening in this wig community. There were some really just a couple of rotten people out there that I did not trust with my full name. And so I used Taz as my namesake. My first name is Terry, by the way, so I know I have that in common with a lot of you. Terry is my name. But Taz is kind of who I am. So the fact that I even started a YouTube channel was very unlikely. I'm a very private person, so go figure. But I really felt strongly about the need to help others, and my own wig journey affected my life so profoundly that it would have been a sin not to share it. And then using my background in public relations and presentations and things, I was an educator for a while in the arena of real estate and mortgage. And so this just all came together in my desire to start a channel to help others. I want to inspire, I want to share my story because I know that's helpful. I want to inspire, encourage, support, And I want to inform, I want to show the wigs, and you're all aware of the different reasons why I do what I do. But while you see me making these videos, I think you often wonder, you know, what is beneath the surface? You know, who am I really? Like behind closed doors when the camera is off, you know, who is Taz? I just really think of myself as just a regular, average woman that is out there trying to support and nurture her family. So this wig review gig has been just something just for me. It's really been my only hobby. I have worked so hard all of these years, putting in tons and tons of hours and saving for college and paying off debt. And you know what it's like to raise a family. So all of a sudden then your children start to leave the nest and you're wondering, who am I, right? I get this. And so this next step in my journey of making videos, of talking about hair is really a journey in self-discovery for me as well. It's not just about the hair. As so many of you know that have started to wear wigs, that goes so much deeper than just hair. It goes to your core of who you are. By wearing these wigs, I can be who I am and just really stretch those muscles and get out there and inspire others to do the same. And so it's been a spiritual journey for me as well. So while my general personality is on the lighter side, I'm a pretty intense person. I've had to be intense. My childhood upbringing, you know, there was a lot of confusion and strife. We didn't have a lot of money. I mean, there were times when I can remember being, you know, on welfare and wearing clothes that didn't fit, having to go through the lunch line to get a free lunch, you know, in middle school. I mean, that's like, I would never ever want to go back there again. And while I've kind of let that go in my adult life, the principles still stick with me, because I felt like the minute I had a chance to be independent and make something for myself, I was going to do that, because I didn't want my family suffering through those same things as I did as a child. I'm not blaming anyone. This has made me who I am today. It's just that I wanted something different. So I became pretty intense about the whole situation by getting educated and by reaching out and finding a career that I loved that was also going to pay the bills and help me do the things that I wanted to do. So that intensity carried through my work life. I was in a professional mortgage banker position for over 25 years, and it changed me. The goals were high. The margins for errors were very, very small, because you're dealing with people's life. You're dealing with their money. I took that extremely seriously, and so I just was always had my work hat on. I was always I was in professional mode, and I was intense about it because I wanted to be successful. I'm a perfectionist, and while I know that nobody's perfect and I'll never ever come close, that didn't stop me from wanting to be the best that I could be. And so there is a lot of intensity there. When I was younger, that intensity would kind of parlay into disappointment. I would get irritable at times, just because I couldn't control a situation, or things got out of hand, and which always happens, especially when you're raising families. I mean, in life in general, I'll always throw you a curveball. But I deal with that much differently now as I'm older. So that's just another reason why I kind of embrace this whole aging thing, is because I wouldn't trade what I know now and the softening of my personality and intensity for any amount of money. I really do put others first, but by doing that, I help myself. And so I live a life of gratitude. I'm just so grateful I can find gratitude in everything. And I think gratitude is the key to self-discovery and happiness. I really, really do. Yeah, so that's not to say that just because I'm older and more enlightened that I don't ever get in a bad mood, because sometimes I do. Sometimes I just feel more overwhelmed than other times. Sometimes I'm grumpy. But it's never out of judgment for anyone else. It's usually I'm upset with myself over something, or something didn't go the way I had hoped and planned. You know, and if I ever act out in judgment of anybody, I really regret it immediately. And if I can repair it immediately, I do that as well. When I was pregnant, I had just had my second son when my husband got cancer. There was a point where we did not think he was going to make it. We thought he would pass away from cancer. He had gone through all the different treatments and finally into chemotherapy. And when those treatments weren't working and we went to the next step and the next step, our last ditch effort was this really intense chemo, and it worked. He is alive and well today, and that's just, I mean, you can drop to your knees and just show extreme gratitude for that blessing, for that gift of his life. But I'm also a firm believer that everything we go through in life is meant to awaken something within ourselves that is going to make us better, that's going to help us rise above. You want to help others along that path as well. And I know that if somebody would have told me everything I would have went through after I got married to my husband, I probably would have turned and ran as fast as I could the other way. But it's a blessing that I didn't have a crystal ball, because everything that we've been through has helped form and shape who I am today, and has given me, like I said, that gratitude, that sense of peace, and that love for others. So he made it through that. About the same time that was happening, they discovered a heart defect in my son. There were also some other immune problems with my son growing up. They thought he had lupus at one time. I mean, just one thing after another. And then my oldest son, they discovered he had a bicuspid aorta, the one that's in the Air Force. They didn't discover it till he was in the Air Force, and they gave him a waiver to stay in the Air Force. So, you know, one thing after another, and now this potential with my oldest son being in that near fatal motorcycle accident, and then possibly having MS. So this theme has really carried through my life, and some of the intensity that I have, I'm always very guarded, because I feel like at any time lurking around the next corner is going to be the next shoe that drops with some bad news. And so while I'm very spiritually aware, and I can tell myself that everything happens for a reason, and to you know, live a life of gratitude, it's still difficult when you get shocked like that. So I'm super introverted. I would rather spend a night at home rather than go out and do things. Now, I have a best friend that I've had for over 25 years. Her name is Lisa, and I have a wonderful sister. We have a really close relationship, and I'm so blessed by that. And my husband, and we have a few friends that we hang with. Rarely, you know, I don't go out a whole lot. Like I said, I'd rather spend time at home with my cats. but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't need to have a lot of social stimulation. That's just not who I am. And so, you know, as a wig reviewer, I'm intense. I want to get that information out there in the best, most professional way that I can. But I'm not going to hang out in groups, and I'm not going to do some of those other things on social media that so many people can do. I just can't do it. I'm just not cut out for that. So I'll be here to help you. I'm an absolute loyal to a fault, and I will help you with anything. If somebody has a need, I'm there. But I'm just not going to be a social butterfly. You know, another thing too is something about Tazz is that I'm super frugal. Many of you know that I do thrift shopping a lot. I very rarely buy anything new. I bought this vehicle last year. This is a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee something. I forget what the package is, the trim package on it. But this was an expensive vehicle. I had never purchased a new vehicle, ever. Well, I take that back. When I first got out of high school and got my first job, I bought a brand in like 87. a brand new Escort GT. You know, I thought I was hot stuff, you know, I had a brand new car. But that's the last vehicle that I purchased new until this one. And so I'm really frugal like that. I'd rather buy used. I'd rather save my money. We've been very blessed with being able to get back on our feet financially after some of the health things that have gone on. You know, put our youngest son through, saved enough to put him through a private college. We, you know, we got our debt paid, and there's just so many blessings. And I really chalk that up just to being frugal, but being mindful. I'm not frugal to a fault. I mean, I will still live. We like to go on vacations once a year and do family things that cost some money. You know, go out to eat. We like to see a movie or whatever. We like to take little weekenders. We're big baseball fans, so we'll go to different parks and things. But we're very careful with our funds, and so you know, that's the only reason that I started in wigs, was because I felt like I've got everything paid. I can now do something for myself. Another thing about me is that my husband and I really enjoy doing things together, and we are living our best life in terms of health and fitness, and that makes you feel good. The older you get, that health and fitness piece is critical to living your best life as you get older. So we're celebrating being kind of empty nesters. We do have our youngest son. He's a junior in college this year, and he kind of lives and dwells in the basement. He goes to school all day, and then he has a job in the evenings. We rarely see him, but it's fun to have him still in the house at least. But we can pretty much have the freedom to go and to do what we want. We also love craft breweries. We like beer. We like to experiment with some of the smaller microbrews in the craft beer market. We're just real big connoisseurs of that, and so we'll take a weekend and go to one of the breweries in Ohio or the surrounding states. Even we're not afraid to travel, just to check out what they have to offer. We'll talk with the brewmaster if they're there, and just get to know their process, and get to sample a lot of their brews. And that's been our funnest discovery yet, that we really, really enjoy that. Some people do that with wine, you know, they go to wine tastings and that. So we like that with our craft beers. So maybe you've learned something that you just didn't realize before. But yeah, guys, this is who I am. Whether you call me Taz, or you call me Terry, or you call me that wig lady on YouTube, it's just all me. And I'm actually pretty boring when it comes down to it. I don't live an exciting life, but I live a blessed life. And I count you all every day in my blessings. For I am blessed to be able to get in front of you and show you what I know, share myself with you, and hopefully inspire and encourage and support you along the way. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.